Unfortunately, the audio on the following clip is not in sync with the words that I was saying at the time at the Amex because my mic wasn't fully charged, so it didn't record. So I'm here outside the Amex Stadium for Matchweek 9 in the WSL. It's Brighton hosting Leicester, and these two sides in desperate need of a win. Leicester in 9th, 3 points behind Brighton in 8th. And as I say, the two teams not in fine form. Brighton winless in 4 in the WSL and Leicester winless in 7. So nearing their record of 9 games without a win. They will not want to get closer to matching that record once again. But the Foxes haven't managed to secure an away win since January 2024, so perhaps a bad omen coming into this contest. They actually went the whole of the 24-25 campaign without an away win, and so far they haven't managed one this season. But bad news for Brighton in their team news is that they are without Carla Camacho, their striker. I thought she had played today in the absence of Michelle Adjuman, obviously following that horrific ACL injury, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Last time I spoke to Dario, he was also saying about Fran Kirby returning from sickness/injury, but it seems she's also not in the lineup. So a really big blow for them that their playmaker won't be able to make an appearance today. Good news though for the Albion is Madison Haley gets her first start, I believe, of the 25-26 campaign. She's been ruled out for most of the games with groin injury, so it'll be interesting to see how she does. Maybe in the striker role, not sure who'll replace Camacho, but I think Madison Haley tends to play more on the wing. And obviously Kiko Seike, also a very lively winger. She's in the lineup, whereas Rosa Kafaji is on the bench. But plenty of options there for Brighton to hopefully still be able to attack this Foxes side. Meanwhile, for Leicester, they are without their own striker in Naomi Mouchon. She's had a really difficult time since joining the Foxes, been hampered by injuries throughout, with an ACL, meaning that she was basically ruled out of last season, and now she's received an injury update on Tuesday that she's got ligament damage and won't be able to play for 4 to 6 weeks. So perhaps Hannah Kane will play there, or even Jutta Rantala, who I think is someone to watch out for. She hit double figures in terms of goal-scoring abilities in the 23-24 campaign. So, yeah, there are plenty of different threats for both teams in this important game. But I do think the Albion crowd may just have that extra added impact on the result. Obviously, there are lots of fans coming into the ground behind me, all of them coming out to support the side. It's a lively atmosphere so far that's building outside the ground. The terrace has seen a group of samba dancers performing. So, yeah, it's a really exciting atmosphere to be a part of here today. Hopefully a strong crowd, maybe around 4,000, 5,000. But I think that's going to be the difference maker. My prediction, I'm going to go 2-1 to the Seagulls. They're going to secure an important and narrow win here over the Foxes. But let's see how it goes here at the Amex Stadium.
Left-hand side. Down to Venegas. Tries to play the ball down the left, deflected out of play. Olislagers has a throw in here. Puts the icing on the cake, but a really...
Another goal for the Albion, scored by number 19.
Brighton 3, Leicester 1. And that will be game, set and match, I think.
Yeah, it will be the match when it's pushed the lead out to 2 once again for the Albion and out of Leicester's reach. And it's a brilliant finish from Marisa Olislagers. It seems uncharacteristic goal scorers are scoring today. We had Malisa defender and now the left back Marisa Olislagers, and it's superb, just as accurate as her crosses are. She's now put in an accurate shot, and it's fired into that near left corner past Janina Leitzig, and that'll be a really big blow to Leicester because they've looked a lot better in these last few minutes, and it's been nervy for Brighton. They've pushed for an equaliser, just couldn't get it, and Marisa Olislagers has capped off the tie here.
Lass trying to make it happen now, dribbles it out of play, goal kick, that'll be. Well, she's so composed, she's so good at assists. She's got a brilliant left foot. I haven't seen much of her right foot, and that it just shows that it's almost as good as her left.
Yeah, need to add that to her resume. Attributes: strong weak foot, 5-star. It was superb from her, as you say. We haven't seen much from her on her right, but the finish just looks so easy for her, and yeah, it's just evaded that backline of Leicester and past Leitzig as well. And I think they'll be really disappointed because, yeah, it's now out of their reach, you'd say, and Brighton looking for a fourth perhaps here with Simons.
Yeah, just on Nadine, obviously you say the absence of Fran Kirby is quite a big one. She's a playmaker, but Nadine comes on and has 2 assists today. How pleasing is that for her and personally in her development?
No, look, she's been excellent. She's probably one that can feel a little bit unlucky, but we've had a terrific midfield where Fran's been performing. Yeli again was exceptional today. Maisie was also very, very good. So it's hard to break in, but she's been working, she's put her head down, keeps working, makes an impact when she comes on. And today, regardless if Fran was okay or not, she was going to play. I think she deserved that. She was terrific. Got the 2 assists. Probably a goal would have definitely then rewarded for all her effort and her performance. So yeah, very pleased with her. And now we'll get some headaches for the next round against London.
I think that we've been quite positive, and we know that it's just going to be that extra 1%, and a little bit of luck falling your way as well. But yeah, I think today was obviously a huge win to play at the Amex. Obviously, it's a huge occasion as well, and to have all our fans here. So we want to win even more, and luckily to score a lot of goals as well to put on a show for our fans.
So it's full time here at the Amex Stadium, and Brighton have managed to secure a momentous 4-1 victory over the Foxes. It was a pretty dominant display from the side, bar the opening 20 minutes, which I'm going to talk about now, because from a Leicester perspective, they'll really rue those chances that they had in that first half, but not so much due to their lack of intent, more so due to Brighton goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, who made some incredible saves. But yeah, early on, it did seem that Shannon O'Brien and Jutta Rantala were potentially going to open the scoring, but Chiamaka Nnadozie denying Jutta Rantala's volley with a superb reflex save, and then later denying a shot of striker Shannon O'Brien before tipping away a following cross. So really important there for Brighton to stay in the match in the early proceedings, but then they soon became the more dominant side, and we saw the opener come through Madison Haley, who I mentioned before the match is potentially playing a striker. She kind of operated more as a 10, as I found out in the interview, which you've probably just seen, but she produced a beautifully dinked finish past the goalkeeper for Leicester. Janina Leitzig had no chance at saving it, and that secured Madison Haley her first goal of the WSL campaign, and hopefully she'll get more minutes following today's performance. But that was 1-0 going into the break, and Brighton will have been disappointed to not really be more than 1 goal up. Rachel McLaughlin and Nadine Nordum having a lot of joy in and around the box, but not managing to fire their shots on target before the second half saw Brighton quickly double their lead through uncharacteristic goal scorer really in Mylise Mpom, with the player finding herself on the edge of the box with time to shoot her effort into the bottom corner past Janina Leitzig. So the defender's first goal for the Albion, and taken very well from her to make it 2-0. And for the rest of the second half, Brighton pretty much dominated the game up until in the 75th minute when Leicester struck back with a response through Shannon O'Brien, who I mentioned in the first half had a chance. This one she wasn't going to squander. It was a great ball from her teammate Jutta Rantala over the top, fell into the path of O'Brien, and she fired it past Chiamaka Nnadozie, who could do nothing after several saves in the first half to deny O'Brien this time. So it made for a bit of a nervy end to the game, or at least that was how it was suggested to be, before Marisa Olislagers fired the Seagulls back into that 2-goal lead, making it 3-1. The left back actually scored with her weaker right foot, which didn't look weak at all. I remember saying on BBC Radio Commentary with Robin Gray that it just looked so effortless for her to score. And as I say, that really put the game out of the sights for the Foxes, before Brighton then offered several other opportunities to get themselves in front. And while they didn't secure 5 or 6, they did secure their 4th of the game through Kiko Seke, with the makeshift striker firing in her effort on the rebound after Maisie Simons' original shot was saved by Janina Leitzig. The keeper could do nothing for Seke's follow-up, which was actually played through the legs of Leitzig. So not a good day for her at the office, and neither for the Foxes. Of course, that means they now suffer that stat I was telling you about in my pre-match video, which is 20 WSL away trips without a win. So not good for the Foxes, but for Brighton, it looks like they're looking up more so at the table now. They've moved up to 7th, and yeah, it's a really important win for them before the international break. Of course, Dario Vidošić side will hope to continue this momentum as they face an away trip to London City Lionesses. That's at the beginning of December, and I'll be there for that one, doing co-commentary just as I did today at the Amex for BBC Radio Sussex.